So we have been talking, of course, about those comments by Sir Jim Ratcliffe on the programme, and I'd be very interested to get the government's perspective on this, of course, the comments that he made about colonisation, and also he did have some other criticisms of the government as well that would be interesting to get into. The Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State at the Ministry of Justice, Jake Richards, joins us now. It's great to have you on the programme. Awful lot to get to. Before we do, I did want to start off on your announcement on knife crime. It feels particularly important given the kind of double stabbing that we saw in Brent. What's the plan?
Well, look, the government has a plan to try and reduce knife crime by 50% over the next decade. We've made some progress in that. We've seen an 8% reduction in knife crime generally, a 27% reduction in homicides. But as you've just said, far too often there is still too much knife crime, in particular affecting our young people. So today we're announcing a plan which means that any child that is caught in possession of a knife will receive intensive, quick, rigorous supervision to make sure that they're diverted from criminality and that they never return to a life of crime again. We're backing that up with investment, £320 million into youth justice services over the next 3 years. And the whole point of this, to coin a phrase, is being tough on crime, tough on knife crime, but also tough on the causes of it. And if you're caught with a knife and a child is caught with a knife, then we need to deal with it quickly, and our plan today will do that.
I just wanted to get your reaction to the comments that have been made to Ed Conway from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. What do you make of what he had to say?
Well, firstly, I think that the language used around colonisation is ugly and actually quite offensive and frankly wrong.
Do you think it's racist?
The idea that we are, as a country, being taken over by people from abroad, I think is not right and is wrong, and I think I understand why many people would find it offensive. It's perfectly legitimate to raise concerns about immigration. That's why this government has a commitment to bring down levels of immigration and has already gone very far in bringing down levels of immigration from the 1 million net immigration high that we had under the Conservative government. But we do need to be careful about the language we use. And the fact that Jim Ratcliffe then went on to use statistics which were completely wrong, and also the context in which he moved to Monaco to avoid paying £4 billion of tax in this country, I think he should perhaps keep some of his views to himself on this.
Do you think saying that the UK has been colonised, do you think that's racist language?
Look, I just don't think it's very helpful, and I think it's offensive language.
OK. I want to pick up a bit on the kind of wider point that he was making as well. He was basically saying that given the serious challenges ahead, given the state of the economy, we need some courageous decision-making from politicians. So he said, if you really want to deal with the major issues of immigration, with people opting to take benefits rather than working for a living, if you want to deal with that, then you're going to have to do some things that are unpopular and show some courage. And that is a criticism, I think, that many people could level at this government. Do you need to show a bit more courage to take unpopular decisions, things that haven't been focus grouped out of their lives, you know, and actually make a difference?
Well, look, I think I agree with him on this part. You know, the country for too long has been stuck for 14 years of failed Conservative government, stagnant growth.
I'm talking, can I just come in? No, I have to
Sophie,
come in. No, stop. I'm really sorry, but I can't let you kind of get away with that. You know, you've been in power for, you know, a sizable period of time. We had new growth figures out today that show 0.1% growth. I mean, come on, this is the whole point.
Sophie, but
this is literally the point of what Sir Jim is saying.
Let me avoid the partisan attacks and answer the question directly. Yes, we have to bring dramatic change to this country. That's why we were elected with a manifesto on the front page which said change. We've begun to do that with some pretty radical and sometimes unpopular policies. For example, on planning reforms. Really difficult but important planning reforms to try and build the houses that we need, which will also help in terms of getting the economy growing. On immigration, Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, made a remarkable policy statement, which, yes, has upset some of my own party indeed, but it's absolutely necessary if we're going to show to the British people that we can get results in getting control of our borders and bringing down levels of illegal migration. So there's a lot more to do, and I'm not for a minute suggesting that this is job done, but I think this government has shown a capacity to be able to those difficult decisions, and we've got to take that forward.
He's talking specifically about welfare, right? So the Office for Budget Responsibility is saying that the overall bill for sickness benefit could be due to be £109 billion by the end of the decade. I think we've got some graphics as well showing the rise. This is the Office of Budget Responsibility. You know, the rise in working age adults claiming these benefits just going up and up and up. Labour's got to get that down, right? Are you going to get that down?
I believe we will. Are you going to get it down?
Yes,
because one of the big shocking statistics is that 1 in 8 young people in our country is now not in work or in employment. And that is both shocking in terms of the money and the finances for the taxpayer and your viewers, but it's also shocking morally because we do not want, especially the Labour Party, the party of work, to have young people out of work and employment and training. So we've got to get a grip of it. And Pat McFadden, who you'll no doubt be speaking to at some point, will be bringing forward a package of reforms in the future to do that.
If you kind of forgive my kind of scepticism, you tried to get this welfare stuff through before and it was too unpopular, to use that word, with your own MPs. Now Keir Starmer is in an even more weakened position. If he tries to get this kind of stuff through, he's just going to get turfed out, isn't he?
Well, no, I don't think that's right. I think that Pat McFadden will bring forward a package, particularly focused on this really seismic issue of young people who are not in employment, not in training, not in education. We need to get a grip of that. I think we'll be bringing forward a package in which we'll do that, and I think we'll succeed in doing that.
There's been a lot of talk about Labour needing to change in the wake of the difficult week you've had, the pressures on Keir Starmer's leadership, and some people are saying that this is going to mean a move to the left. Would that be a mistake?
Well, I think on this particular issue, I don't think it's left-wing or right-wing to try and want more people to get back into work. Work is inherently a good thing, and it's part of what the Labour Party was created to do.
Would a move to the left be a mistake?
Well, I think that we won the last election from the centre-left of British politics. We are a centre-left party, and I think that's where we will remain.
I just want to talk to you about another story that has bubbled up over the last 24 hours, right? So lots of reports that Number 10 is preparing to replace the Cabinet Secretary of the top civil service and put in Antonia Romeo, who is the current top civil service in the Home Office. There was an extraordinary interview last night by Sir Simon MacDonald, former Permanent Secretary of the Foreign Office, who said he tried to warn Number 10 about this process. It needs to start from scratch. He says he's been trying to get in touch and offer testimony, but no one's called him back. And there has been, Antonia Romeo, dynamic, would be the first one in the job, but there was, of course, an investigation back in 2017 over bullying and misuse of expenses. What is going on here? You need to get everything right with this process.
So, look, 2 things. First of all, I can't comment on speculation as to who might be moving in and around the civil service. It's well above my pay grade, Sophie. But in terms of this vetting process, the Prime Minister has been very clear that something is clearly going wrong in government when it comes to vetting processes. And so, we're looking at how we can change that, make that more rigorous, and I'm sure that will include this gentleman's comments as well when we consider that.
So do you think it's important then that someone gives this guy a call, gives Sir Simon MacDonald a call?
Well, I'm sure someone will be speaking to... I genuinely don't know who this gentleman is. I'm sure he's a very senior civil servant.
He's former Permanent Secretary of the Foreign Office. I mean, he's quite a big deal, right?
I personally don't know him, but no doubt someone should be speaking to him about his concerns about the vetting process, because there are clearly problems in the vetting process more generally. And if someone with his experience at the top of the civil service has concerns about it too, we should be listening to them.
Should we pass his number on to you?
Well, I'm not sure that I'm the person that he should be speaking to, but someone should certainly speak to him, yes. Maybe not me.